Okay, guys, thanks for joining me. I've got Rachel Ryan and I've got Jenna Side from Paradise Kitty, which is the world's best female tribute to Guns N' Roses.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I was telling Jenna earlier, I came across the band just through social media. I think I was surfing YouTube or Twitter, and then it came up tribute band, and I'm like, I remember interviewing Kirsten from the Iron Maidens, and I thought that was really cool. So, anyways, I got a hold of Jenna, and here we are. So,
Yep.
it's 11 your time. What's the weather like right there, right now?
Hot.
Yeah.
I'm at the beach, so it's 79 degrees and awesome.
Oh man, we got 6 inches of snow last night. It's just.
You got
Wow.
Where are you at?
Well, we're in Canada, but see, I got you on your toes. I'm just joking. We didn't get snow.
Oh, I was like, wow. It's like, really, in July? Have we really screwed up the planet that bad?
Well, we have, and you know what? To be honest with you, I remember earlier in May, they were getting snow in places like Alberta, just like pockets of it, like just here and there. But it's known to happen, and I'm actually right on the border with your sister. Well, with our sister city, Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. So
Okay.
area, like if you look at a map and you see the Great Lakes where they come to that head, that's where we are.
Oh,
So, anyways,
so you're America adjacent.
we are. We can actually literally sit on our boardwalk and look over the American or over our St. Mary's River and see traffic in Sault, Michigan. It's really cool.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, we're pretty lucky to be situated so close. One of you, whoever usually does it, tell the fans that are not aware how many years and decades you guys have been doing this. And I know the band's history, but I mean, some of the viewers might know because you've had a revolving lineup of different entertainers throughout the years. But I guess you're the two founders.
Yes.
Jenna,
Yeah.
I'll let you tell the tale of the Kitties.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
But it has to start with, it was a dark and stormy night.
Well,
Dark and stormy
with,
night, walking down the alleys of Hollywood.
But
We had fried chicken.
Jenna, is that as me and Jenna were talking earlier about that door behind her? Is that a dungeon drawer where you where all
Yes.
former members are kept?
Yeah, that's where we keep them all. They're all locked up in ball and chains behind us.
So if you need a replacement on the night when somebody's sick, you let them out.
Oh yeah, yeah. They pull on leashes and untie them and everything.
That's what I figured. Okay, all right. So let's use the story before we move on.
So about what is it now? It's almost 6 years ago. Rachel
Jenna,
and I both had.
we've been married for almost 6 years.
I know, right? We've been sharing bank accounts and social security numbers for almost 6 years.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, about 6 years ago, Rachel and I both had a mutual friend, and she contacted Rachel about starting the band Guns N' Roses.
Mhm.
And then or Guns N' Roses Paradise Kitty, and she said, I want to do a Guns N' Roses tribute. Rach, you said that, I don't want to do anything campy. I don't want to dress up. I want to just be badass girls playing badass rock and roll. And then I was contacted, and the rest is history. We've been taking over Hollywood ever since then, and playing around the world.
What she didn't know is that putting Jenna and I together, because to her, this was like a fun little, maybe once in a while gig side project, but putting Jenna and I together was like fire and gasoline, or putting like chocolate and peanut butter together. That basically, we both came from a similar school of thought of, when you do something, you do it 1,000%, not just 90%. And, we just really had the same work ethic of like, you never cancel a gig. You don't back out of something once you commit to it. And, we have a very, and, it's amazing how many musicians don't have that level of commitment. Yeah. And so we just really, got together, and, we definitely have had a revolving door of players that have played with us because, some of these girls are just part-time players. They play when they can. They have school, regular 9-to-5 jobs. They can't tour. So we just kind of, when the band started, we gave everyone that was in the band at the time an option to be a full-blown partnership and own a part of, like, we started an LLC. We began it as a company, and everyone had the opportunity to invest in that and be a part of that. And it really came down to just Jenna and I. Everyone else didn't really want that level of commitment. They'd
Yeah.
rather be hired guns. We gave everyone the option. And so it turned into Jenna and I, we've never played a Paradise Kitty show without both of us. And we're the core of the band, and we hire girls to play with us. And because we try to pick the best players out there, sometimes they're really busy and they have a lot of other gigs. So we just have, we have our main girls that are always our first phone call that, are our sisters, and we've toured to Australia and back with. But they aren't always available because they have solo careers and other bands and really high paying crazy gigs. They do TV stuff and stuff. So so we have also a nice bevy of amazing subs that we bring in, and our main girls help teach them, and we all work together, and it's just like become this big litter of kittens we love playing with, and we have a great time with. And it comes down to availabilities because Jenna and I come from the mindset that if you get a call saying, do you want to do this show, hell or high water, we make it happen and we do the show. So it's just really finding girls that can be there with us to have fun and be part of the party.
Life happens too, relationships, marriage, kids, things of that nature for sure make it a bit of a challenge. So who's in the band currently besides yourself and Jenna?
We have our lead guitarist, Ariel Bevelair, who has been with us for probably 4 years now.
Yeah, she's been since late 2017.
She's amazing. She's so professional. She's a little stick of dynamite. You can't tell from pictures, but this girl is barely 5 feet tall and maybe 90 pounds soaking wet. She is a tiny little stick of dynamite who always turns up on time, does her job. She just has such a great professional demeanor to what she does, and she's become really a family member. We love her to pieces. When we tour the East Coast, we stay with her parents, and we all eat pina coladas and play Cards Against Humanity, and she's just a family. And so she's always our first call on lead. On rhythm guitar, from day one, we've had Hisako with us, who she's amazing and lovely, and but she's also a full-time student, so her availability gets a little tricky sometimes, but she's really been our first phone call on rhythm since the beginning, and she's just a wonderful guitar player and just such a sweetheart. She's from Japan, and we have a fun time trying to teach her naughty words in English.
Yeah, well, I mean, for sure. Probably more of a course for her to teach you guys Japanese naughty words.
Yeah, she's so cute. She's adorable. She's just such a sweetheart. And on bass, our go-to girl is Terry King, who I played with in a band called Cockpit for 10 years.
Okay.
And Terry and I also used to work together at Interscope Records for many years. And she is just a phenomenal bass player. She started playing bass because of Guns N' Roses when she was 9 years old. She was classically trained and heard the first Guns N' Roses album and wanted a bass, and and she was playing upright cello, piano, violin, and so that turned her into that took her to the dark side. So Terry subbed for us a long time ago, and when she came into the first rehearsal, it was such a pleasure because Duff's a really busy player. He's a very noodly bass player, and Terry walked in, and she is the only bass player we've ever played with that plays every fill note for note. That's how she learned how to play bass, was playing Duff's parts. So she came in, and she's such a pro. She just walked in, and we ran through all of Appetite front to back. And we were like, okay, Terry, what do you want to go over again? She was like, whatever you guys want. I know it all. We never had to go over a second part. We never had to do anything twice. It was just, and her and I played together for 10 years. So we know each other's feel, and it's just, we've really our main call girls are really just such a pleasure to be around, and we have fun when we play shows, and we have fun on the road, and it's so nice because as I'm sure you can imagine, that's not always
respectful family you guys got.
Yeah.
When you're talking about she being so tiny playing guitar, she's 90 pounds soaking wet, and 5'9", you said?
No, she's barely 5 foot.
Oh, so I was just curious, does she play Hello Kitty guitars or?
No, she's actually endorsed by Fender.
Because
Yeah,
I play
fully
guitar,
endorsed
I
by
play little
Fender.
ones too. This is actually a steel stir stick for my coffee, so I play a little guitar as well. So
That's awesome. Yeah, no, she's a tiny little thing, and I know Slash he's a Gibson Les Paul guy, but like I mean, I think a Gibson Les Paul is bigger than her. So she's a Fender girl. She's endorsed by Fender. She does a lot of stuff with Fender for them and with them, and and she still manages to get the right tones and make it sound right. So we're cool with whatever she wants to play because she's one hell of a player.
and you guys are all great musicians, and I mean, definitely you playing drums is just obvious. You're a talent. Jenna, how did you get into singing? Do you have vocal training previously? Because your voice
Yeah.
obviously has the Axl ring.
Well, I mean, I grew up in a musical family. My father's a songwriter, my uncle's
Okay.
a songwriter, my grandparents, like I came from a very country background with my father's side of the family. But at a young age, I started singing, and I was always involved in music in school.
Okay.
And at 13, I won the American Jazz Soloist Award, Ella Fitzgerald Jazz Soloist Award,
Oh, yeah.
and did a lot of choir training and stuff like that. And still to this day, every year or two, I go back and refresh with all my training to make sure that I'm still keeping up on my chops.
For sure.
But really, it took a lot of time, a lot of years to find my voice and to be able to find how I can transition between lower registers to upper registers with ease. And that's training. It really is. It's training. And especially when you're running around up on stage, you have to also count in the factor that you're doing
Diaphragm is important.
cardio.
Yeah.
Yep. And I don't sit still on stage. I'm all over the place. It is a full-blown cardio workout for at least 60 to 90 minutes every night when we're out on the road. So you have to learn how and where to put your breath placement.
So
Stuff like that.
with Guns, obviously you started that band because you're obviously passionate about the band. When was your first contact with anybody from the band that would come to a show or surprise you or send you a note of encouragement, say, wow, I heard about you guys. I saw you guys live. You were excellent. When was the first time you had that? Holy shit.
Our first show.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that was early.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I had done vicariously done business with them over the years. I come from an industry background of working for record labels and
Nice. Okay.
recording studios and management companies and stuff. So, I used to work for Geffen Records.
Oh, okay.
I worked for the president of Geffen, and I worked for Interscope and all these labels. But so I had contact with them here and there. But mutual friends, we had basically, when we started the band, mutual friends had mentioned it to Axl, and he was like, girls doing Guns N' Roses, do they think I sound like a girl? I'm not sure about this. And then I guess he watched a video of our very first performance, which was really 2 rehearsals that included auditioning girls and playing Appetite front to back in order.
Wow.
So we were just we just wanted to build the boat really quick, throw it in the water, see if it could float before we invested more time and energy into it. And so we did this first gig, and after that, come our second gig, Axl was tweeting about us, telling people to go watch us play. So Jenna won his seal of approval. I knew Slash's camp and his Conspirators band for years. We're all old friends.
Yeah.
So they told Slash about us, and he was really excited. He's a big supporter. They all love the idea because we don't half-ass it. It was important to Jenna and I when this band started that it wasn't like a novelty act. It was really it was more important that we sounded right than that we got out there with a campy top hat and a wig. That just wasn't, we're all musicians in our own right, and we do stuff that's more than just being in a tribute band. So it's funny, even though we're a tribute band, we never really liken ourselves to a tribute band. It's more of we kind of do our own thing to it. Yeah. So we make sure the music sounds right, and then we bring our own stage presence. And, those guys have always been, all of them have been big supporters. Steven Adler's gotten on interviews with me when he heard about what we were doing and wanted to cheer us on. And, one day we're going to get Slash to come play with us. We're going to do it one day.
Yeah.
The stars will align and he'll be able to jump up and come play with us. But his band members from the Conspirators, half of them have played with us. We've done a lot of tours and shows with Dizzy Reed, who's, you know, the keyboards for GNR.
Yeah.
And like Dizzy, like he'll jump up with us or we'll jump up with him and play and we'll tour together. And, you know, it's just, that whole camp has been really supportive because we don't make a mockery. Like we don't make it cheesy. It's
No,
we make
no,
it
you're
cool and
definitely a professional band, professional musicians, and your choreography and everything. It's like we're doing now. It's ad lib. You're not up there doing everything that Slash or Axl or even Bumblefoot would do. You guys are unique, and but the music is just the creme de la creme. I mean, you guys sound really good. So
thank you.
yeah,
That was the number one rule when we started this was like every player of GNR has such a distinct feel to their playing.
Yep.
And without that feel, it's not right. So we, you know, to Jenna and I both, it was very important that we copped the feel. And we had some great players that came in to play with us that just couldn't, like, you know, on rhythm, they couldn't get that, you know, Keith Richards feel to the rhythm swaggery guitar that Izzy plays with, or, you know, it just tells us it was just really important that the feel was spot on.
Maybe even their stage presence was just not fitting in that groove. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's true too, because I mean, we're women and our bodies move differently. We react differently. And so that's one thing, like we'll get the feel of the sound, no problem, but we all needed to be able to really embody our own stage presence up there too, and take what they were doing and fit it into our world. And I mean, Ariel, she's our Slash. This girl's doing back bends and full on splits up on stage. Slash doesn't do that. You know, I mean, I run around and I'm crawling underneath her up on, it's a whole different thing, a whole different vibe, but still paying homage to their genius and their music, you know?
Yeah.
So that's what we try to do.
I often find that I love Lies. I mean, it's so different than Appetite. I think it's actually one of my favorite of their albums. But I mean, how can you say you have a favorite out of genius music, right?
Right.
So, but anyways, Lies is a go-to for me. Now, I was looking at your history on your touring, and also obviously you extensively tour, you know, California market, Nevada. How did you get the run in Australia, of all places? Because you haven't been to Canada that I know of, and I'm a little offended.
Well, we were supposed to do a Canada run, but I think like the promoter had money problems and it fell out like a week or two beforehand. And hopefully we will be to Canada soon. There's talks of that.
Great.
Australia, I think, did the promoter came to us, right? He found us, came to us.
Yeah,
well, he came to our
Silverback Touring came to us.
That'd be a great working vacation for sure, to go down under, right?
Oh, it was fantastic. And the company that we worked with were so accommodating, and they were just fun in themselves. They did all the ground touring for us. Each state that they have there, like there's only like 5 states in Australia or something like that. Yeah. But each state we had a different driver. It's massive, but there's only 5 locations, but we had somebody different for each one.
We had to fly from city to city. They were too far to drive.
It's its own continent. So right. So I think there's like 5 major cities. You got Melbourne, Sydney, the other ones, but they're so sparse located from each other. So
but they had the most awesome people driving us around, taking care of us, and the owner. I mean, the company's called Silverback Touring, and they were just fantastic. We loved them.
They were so pro.
Yeah,
super pro. It was great.
We had the best time. They took us out to koala sanctuaries. We had days off where we all went out to Sydney, and Rachel and I took the ferry around the harbor. It really was a great work vacation.
Beach and all that stuff for sure.
Well, we skipped Bondi and we went to Manly Beach, because it was suggested that was like a better, you know, it's like it was just a better stop that day, and we got to take the water taxi there and go through the bay. It was fun. It was lovely.
It was awesome.
With Canada, I mean, if you can't make it here, even if you go across to Sioux, Michigan, my sister city, I'm sure the casino there, Kuwait, and get a hold of Christina McCurchie, because will bring in some good world-class tribute bands. And I mean, wouldn't that be something to see you and the Maidens play?
That'd be awesome.
We have 2 upcoming shows it's in Pennsylvania, correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, we do. Yeah, those are our sisters. We love them. We share every now and then. Courtney will come in and fill in for Ariel when she can't make a gig. Like
Yeah.
we have known each other for years, so playing together is always a joy. Like they're the coolest chicks, and
September, correct?
they're extended family, you know.
That's coming up in September, those shows, right?
Yeah. On the 24th, September 24th, we are at the Meadows Casino in Washington, PA, and then the 25th we are in Sharpsville with them at Thelma's Sports Nook.
So how did that come about? That's an interesting, are they on a tour right now and they asked you to come and be a part of those shows? Or
We
is
have
it
the same
promoter
booking agent.
Meadows? Pardon? Oh,
We
same
have
booking agent.
We have the same booking agent. So
Mhm.
we were the first tribute band at our agency.
Yep.
And when they saw the success that they had with us, they brought the maidens in as well.
Mhm.
So you know, every once in a while, you know, they pitch us together to a promoter and it works out.
Yeah.
Well,
So
that's awesome. Okay, other than that, I mean, there's a million things the viewers are going to want to know, but what else are you doing other than music? I'm sure you guys are busy on the side. What are the projects you have going on?
I mean, we all have our own projects. I'm currently working on a new single I'll be putting out in the next couple of weeks. It's an acoustic single.
Okay.
And Ariel Blair, you can find her all over Spotify. She just released a new single also called Diamonds and Coal.
Okay.
Diamonds and Coal, something like that. But it's really good. She's fantastic.
Right.
I mean, we all have our own projects. And then for the band, after the shows in PA with the Maidens, we are doing Chris Jericho's Rock and Wrestling Rager out at sea in the end of October. So that's going to be phenomenal. I'm really looking forward to that.
I'm pretty sure you guys are going to be on the probably 2022. You're going to be in Monsters of Rock cruise. Have you been approached yet?
That's our family. We do that cruise often, so we just haven't heard anything about that because of the way that the cruise line situation is set up right now. So we'll see.
That would be good.
they always try to, like, when it makes sense, they always bring us on board. You know, I played the Monsters of Rock first when I was in Femme Fatale a number of years ago.
Yep.
And then you know, ever since then, you know, like really we played our second show with Paradise Kitty, and at that show some of the Monsters of Rock guys came down and watched us play, and they were like, can we bring you guys on the cruise? The cruisers want you back. And we said yes, and we've played like 5 of them since.
Yeah.
So we know they'll bring us in whenever it fits and they can, and they like to try to have us there. So, you know, our fingers are always crossed that they'll bring us in. Sometimes it just doesn't work out budget wise or, you know, with their lineup, but they do when they can, and we love it. So
yeah. But I mean, if we're not on that boat, Rachel and I will probably find a way to sneak in.
We'll
tie up a rope to on a pontoon right behind
right.
it.
We'll be on a little buoy behind the boat. Climbing up.
Okay, so Canadian bands, any influences, female, male? Actually, with you, Jenna, when you said you have some jazz training, a famous Canadian hard rocker, Lee Aaron, she's singing jazz a little bit here and there. She broke it in the 80s with Metal Queen.
I remember Aaron. I remember her.
She's great. So any female or male influences Canadian wise for you girls?
I was really big into Alanis Morissette growing up, and in my early days singing for other bands for my previous projects. She was a big influence on me, especially lyrically. I always really tapped into, especially like Jagged Little Pill growing up for me was a massive freaking album, right? Yeah. So that was one that was on a regular rotation for probably 5 years as I'm going through my high school years. Yeah. So yeah, she was a big one for me. And still, I'm really looking forward to her tour. She's coming around again for the I think it's the 25th anniversary of that album. So it's gonna be awesome.
It is. Was it last year? Was the 25th, or is it this year?
Yeah, but it got rescheduled.
Yeah, for sure.
Because of the pandemic. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that show. I'll be there.
Cool. What about you, Rachel?
I think, like you mentioned, Lee Aaron. I remember when she broke when I was really young, and that was my first like identifying a Canadian artist, you know, so
Good.
she was great. And there wasn't a lot of girls on the hard rock scene at that time. So that
Wow.
was cool that she really like, you know, coming from another country, broke some ground and
Mhm.
kind of helped start blazing the trail. And that's awesome. So a lot of respect there.
Yeah.
Right now, who are you guys listening to? Anybody on the radar that you guys, because in your in SoCal and down, you know, in the Hollywood, LA area, things kind of evolve from there. So is there anybody on the scene right now that's clubbing it that say, hey, watch out, these guys are going to be dynamite, or girls?
Well, our scene has been quarantined.
Well,
So
yeah,
I
no.
Yeah.
can't say
Let's
there's
say
really
before- yeah.
can't see there's really a lot of new LA stuff popping out right now. But one of the newer, I mean, I can't really call them completely newer, but they're an emerging band right now that I think is great, that deserve more attention, is Tyler Bryant and the Shakedown.
Okay.
They're a really awesome killer band. Like Brad Whitford from Aerosmith, his kids in the band, and Tyler Bryant, super talented. Like at 16, he was touring with Jeff Beck. There's a girl band that is from the UK that is now based in LA. They're just different. They have a cool, unique sound. Again, they have a Jeff Beck connection. They're called Bones UK,
Okay.
and they're really cool and really good, and just a new, fresh sound. And I really dig that. So those are a couple of the newer artists that I've been liking lately.
Right on.
So to circle back around to kind of tie both of those questions together, for somebody new on the scene, and she's not really like new, but also she's a Canadian artist in her band, and we've been on the boat with her, is Priya from Diamonds up there. She's Canadian.
Yeah.
And they're great. I mean, they've been like us, we've been all hunkered down because of the pandemics, and she's in LA now, but yeah, Canadian and a fantastic singer, and she's been on the Monster Rock with us, and she's a sweet girl. Her band is amazing. So there you go. Hey Priya, I hope you see this. I love that girl. We've done yoga together and stuff. She's cool.
So pandemic wise, and I won't keep you much longer. I know you guys are busy. Pandemic wise, it's changed everybody for a myriad of reasons. Is it, what in particular is it changed in you, Jenna, and then Rachel? And something specific, or in general, or maybe it hasn't changed you?
Well, I mean,
it's taught me
for us,
patience. That's what it taught me, obviously.
What
what
did
did
it?
it teach you?
Patience.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's a tie into Guns N' Roses, but that wasn't what I was referring to. But yeah. So
Yeah, I think it taught us all here, especially in LA, since we've had really restrictive rules going on out here. That it taught us to think about other people first before yourself out here. And we're all going through this situation at the same time, but each one of us has our own different ways that we're tackling it. So, I mean, for me, it taught me to be much more understanding to my fellow man's position. And if somebody asks you to put a mask on around them, you don't know if they're coming from a background where their family they're coming home to a grandmother who is elderly, dying from cancer or something. So it made you really try to think about other people's positions as you're going out each day, you know. As we open up, it's also allowed me to think of, if somebody's having a bad day and you see that person be just a little rude to someone, don't give that rudeness back. Understand that people are going through something differently at every time of the day, and, you know, just try to be a good person yourself, and hopefully that energy transfers over to whatever's going on in their life, you know, and be considerate.
Well, yeah, the pandemic has caused destruction in every way, obvious, but you know, they be having the worst day because you don't know it, but they're on their last legs of their business being open as a small business, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, let me just click off this little thing here. Zoom wants to have a chat with me. Okay, Rachel, anything with you in particular?
Yeah, I mean, the year before the pandemic was a really intense year for me. Like, I went home for what was supposed to be 3 days because my mother had a bad cold, to help her with that, and it turned out that it was terminal lung cancer, and I was stuck at home for 5 months helping her die. So it was kind of an really intense year. And I mean, I literally like had to go buy clothes because I had enough for 3 days, and I ended up there for 5 months. And So that first half of the year prior was really intense. And when I got back to LA, we had all these shows to catch up on and work stuff. And it was just really no breathing room to really process everything that happened. So for me, you know, the beginning of the pandemic was kind of almost a relief that I was forced to just be at home for a minute and like reset. I really needed it. But the other thing that it really did for me is, you know, there's a saying that a family member told me years ago, and I've used it a million times and meant it half-heartedly, but it really drove the point home. And that was, you know, if you want roses in your garden, quit watering the weeds. And really what you water is what grows. So, you know, every step of this pandemic, I've really, I haven't allowed myself to get frustrated by it or to get, you know, angered by what's going on or to be scared, because I don't want to water more of that. I really want to focus my energy on the roses, and maybe the whole world needed a reset. Maybe everyone at the same time needed to stop and reflect, you know, get so caught up in our busy lives that so many people never take a moment to stop and really reflect and self-reflect and self-correct and adjust and, you know, shift their course. So, and this happened to the entire world at once, which is insane and mind-blowing. So I really just made sure that I really just kept holding space for this strange time to have a positive outcome somehow, for it to like somehow make us all better people on the other side of it. Like, you know, maybe I hope every human on this planet comes through the other end of this, like with more self-awareness or a better outlook, or, you know, being firmly planted on their path instead of a path that they've just been spinning their wheels on. So I really just, you know, every day of this, I've said, water the roses. And every time I get down or depressed or frustrated by what's going on, it's like, nope, let's try to find the positive. Let's find our gratitude and let's just try to water that and help more of that grow. So that was really my locked in lesson during this.
Well, that's awesome. Sorry to hear about your mother.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, so I think I can let you guys get back to your busy lives. Do you have anything to say to your Canadian fans that you will be seeing in Canada sometime? Hint, hint.
We can't wait to see you guys. That's just it. We can't wait to come up there and experience your beautiful country and all your faces and just rock out with you.
Perfect. Okay, ladies.
I was in Canada once, and it was during North by Northeast. During the SARS, and it was during the SARS outbreak. So everyone was all freaked out about SARS.
Yeah.
And I was up there with a boyfriend's band when I was in music school in New York. And it was just, I mean, I remember us just like getting wild. I think we're on King Street or Queen Street in Toronto. And it was, but I remember how beautiful it was up there. And I can't wait to go back and experience more Canada.
Well, thank you so much. And I will be contacting that casino in Sioux, Michigan, and I will send them the video. I'm not saying I can book it, but I mean, they will take on and look at everything. So after this interview is up, I'll send it to you girls to share, and then I'll also send it to your booking agent, and we'll get it around. And, you know, I mean, I'm sure you guys got tens of thousands of followers and stuff, and you're going to be getting more, but it was really nice for you to take time out and chat with me today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have one addendum.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Anything.
Canadian artists that are influential that we highly respect and that have played with us are Todd Kerns and Brent Fitz.
Yep, yay. Those are our boys.
Yeah, for sure. What about the Killer Dwarfs? Were they not on one of the
oh yeah, Killer Dwarfs.
But Brent and Todd have actually played with us, like gotten on stage and played songs with us. We actually jammed together.
Wow, is that on YouTube? Oh, it must be.
Yeah, a couple of them probably are.
Yeah, we did a few times with Todd, and Brent has been one of our biggest supporters from the get-go. I've known him since I was like 19 years old. So he and his wife they always support us and will come to shows, and if he could jump up and play, he will. And they're just amazing, beautiful.
I've got Brent on my Facebook, I believe. I'm going to send him a message. I want to see that. So right on.
Yeah.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, he got up with us at the Viper Room once.
Okay.
And Todd, I think that you might find video of that, of him playing with us at St. Rock.
Yeah.
Down
Right
yeah. Awesome.
All right. Thanks so much, girls.
Thank you. Thank you. Be safe out there, all right?
We will, and you too. Bye-bye.
Right, cheers.
Bye.
Bye.